Internet Capitalist. We're here today with our second interview with prominent crypto founders. And today we are here with Deadshot Ryker from ZeroLend. Welcome, Deadshot.
Hey, Grant, nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I have to ask you, though, how did you get the Discord username Deadshot Ryker? Is there something there?
Yeah, so Deadshot actually it comes from the Batman series. It's like one of my favorite characters. He's a hitman in the Batman, one of the Batman villains. And there's something so fantastic about being a precision shooter. Yeah, so essentially, a lot of our moderators are, a lot of the people in our team, they're Batman characters in the project. So we just picked up Deadshot, and yeah, and that's it. That's where the origin comes from.
Awesome. That's great. Kind of on the background topic as well, how did you get involved in crypto? I think you're a computer scientist by background, by training,
Yeah.
but how did you go from just, writing C code to doing crypto?
Yeah, so I have a background in computer science, math, and economics, and really, like, that's that's the perfect combo for crypto, because crypto is like a mix of all of that: math, computer science, and economics. So I got into crypto back in 2015. That's when I got my first few bitcoins. Um,
Uh,
I never really, cared too much about it. But then when the price went up like 10 times, I'm like, okay, now what is this thing?
yep.
So yeah, crypto really, like, I've been a computer scientist. I've been building products for like over 10 years now. But crypto came to me, or DeFi came to me very heavily in 2019, when we wanted to sort of focus, when I started to see DeFi kind of grow, and then see what we could kind of do here. So my first project was this project called as Mahadao. It was like a stablecoin project. It had a very noble mission, like, of trying to fight inflation. So I ventured into crypto as a way of as in a way to sort of do something good, like something that was novel. But fast forward from 2019 to today, which is 2024, like, I've just been building, getting experience in the space, and that's really where we are today. And so yeah, that's sort of the journey in.
Okay. So tell us about, so let me back up 1 second. I really enjoy hearing Genesis stories. I really enjoy
Yeah.
hearing about how things are created. So tell us about ZeroLend. How you decided to create it. When did you launch it? How did the zkSync initial partnership come up?
Yeah, so sure. So now fast forward to today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in crypto now for I guess already 3 or 4 years, 3 years, I would say. And so Zero Lend really, like, when we started to look at what we can do in crypto, or what I could do in crypto, I saw an opportunity with zkSync and in the market, right? And I think, as all entrepreneurs, you're opportunist. You want to try and do something um, when there's an opportunity. So as an entrepreneur, I just realized, okay, there's zkSync, there's this project, there's this blockchain that is interesting. It looks like it needs, a product that is something that I could build. And so the journey with ZeroLend really started off with trying to address a gap in the market. And I think that's the best way of going about. Even today, like, we're still trying to get ZeroLend, this project, to understanding how we can, fit gaps in the market. But basically, when it first started out, we saw a huge gap in the market, and as any entrepreneur would, like, we built a product that would fit that particular uh, need, right? zkSync back in July of 2023 did not have a good lending protocol. They were a fantastic blockchain. They have a lot of community members, a lot of support, a lot of hype as well. And so it just made perfect sense for us to kind of do something like that. And with my experience in DeFi for 3 or 4 years, um, yeah, we wanted to take the leap, and that's really how we started it, and that's
Yeah.
really it. Yeah.
So I know that on the Discord we joke a lot about,
Yeah.
well, Riker's doing the Solidity coding, he's doing the marketing, he's doing the fundraising. It,
Oh, yeah.
was that literally what you had to do in the beginning with ZeroLend?
So with the ZeroLend, now we're a 25% team. But when it started out, like in July last year, it was a one man show. Yeah. It started out me alone. So yeah, so that is true to a certain extent. But basically, we now have like it started picking up steam, right? And I think really, as any founder would kind of want to see, like they want to see their product grow, they want to see their project grow. And so today, Grant, I'm speaking to you with like maybe 25 people in our team. I don't know, like maybe tomorrow or the next year we might double or triple, who knows, right? Like but it's our job to keep on growing this little ship, so to say.
Yep.
But yeah, initially I think when we launched, we were like maybe $1,000, $10,000 in TVL in assets, and it was just me. And then when it came to like $100,000, I told my old team, "Hey guys, look, I need some help. Please come over." And so a one man show became a 3 man show, And then when we went from $100,000 to $1 million, a 3 man show became a 5 man show, And then so on and so
Yep.
forth. So that's really it.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it over to Ben here for just a second. Ben was actually one of your earliest users back in August or
Yeah.
September. So, Ben,
It's
go ahead.
amazing.
Yeah, I remember looking on DeFi Llama. So I was on ZeroLend previously, which was one of the lending
Oh
markets,
yeah,
and I didn't have a great experience there. It wasn't very intuitive or familiar. So I was looking for other lending markets to supply my ETH, and you guys popped up on there. I was like, I'll give it a shot. User interface, really similar to Aave, which I liked. It was very familiar, so I knew how to use it. And then, yeah, I deposited my ETH there back when you guys had like around 100,000 TVL, and it was a great experience. And then from
yeah.
there, I just saw you guys just kind of continue to expand the platform. So you added LRTs, other assets, you expanded other networks, and this just kept me there. So I wanted to ask you on that note, like, what do you think really contributed to your growth? What do you think it was that kept people coming back like me, and just the expansion to other chains? Why was that so successful?
Yeah, Ben. So of course, it's super awesome to hear early users, and you're like an OG, Then because you've been with us since $100,000 in TVL, we are now at 200 million. So you're like an early user, and so that's amazing to hear. And I think really like you know like what's important, and even today like we're still trying to figure out how to kind of do it. What's really important is we should try and listen to our community and try and listen to our market, right? And so in the early days I had a lot of free time. So I could be in the Discord like 8 hours a day,
Yeah.
sort of. So in the early days, I think one of the things with Errorland and what we did was like, of course, creating a better product. I think that's something that worked out. But we also saw that the more network effects, like the more assets, the more people we worked with, the more partners we worked with, and the more blockchains we worked with, right? But we started seeing like a network effect happen. So um, the moment ZeroLend listed new assets, it brought new people coming in. The moment we deployed a new chain, it got new users coming in, right? So every single step of listing assets or growing, always or having a partnership kind of brought new people in. And essentially, I think a lot of the initial success is just focusing on the community and trying to build a product that works. Even today, we're still I would still say that we're still in that phase of learning, growing, trying to understand users. I would say that we still haven't found what most entrepreneurs would call product market fit. Like we still have to kind of build that, even though like the project has grown from when you first joined to today, right? I strongly believe that like every entrepreneur's journey is it's like continuous learning and a continuous evolution of their own products. So yeah, so just to summarize, like really focusing on the community, building a product market fit, working with new partners, these things helped quite a bit. And so that's really it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That resonates a lot. And for me personally, I know last cycle we went through like the DeFi 2.0 phase, and I was kind of fed up with it. Was
Mhm.
like Olympus DAO, it was like Rari Fuse markets blew up, which they had some good tech, but a bunch of that blew up. And I saw
Yeah.
you guys in the next gen popping up, which kind of like built on the existing DeFi primitives, just adding more functionality and kind of stacking the DeFi Legos. And that was great to see. And yeah, I'll be a user for a long time. You guys are doing a great job there. So I just wanted to give you your flowers.
No, no, it's just I'm so excited to speak to you, and like I mean, we love it when we speak to our users, especially earliest ones like yourself. And so like we always try to like think of what we can do better, and so getting feedback is super super important here. And you're right, like we basically took the DeFi Legos and then started building on top of it. And also just to share some alpha, like for your show, like we are building a ZeroLend version 2, which is also the same thing. It's like a Lego that is built with more features added onto it. And I'm hoping that essentially that's going to be also our mark or our stepping stone to, like really differentiating ourselves with other lending protocols out there. So yeah, I mean that's really it, and of course, grateful to. I think I don't know, like you look super young, So I'm wondering like how you can do so much, running a podcast, being in DeFi, all of these things. So kudos to you too as well. So
Thank you. Yeah, got a lot of energy. Young, so I got the energy. That's
Yeah.
how
oh,
it
that's
goes.
fantastic. That's
Yeah, yeah,
fantastic.
definitely.
So, Ben asked a lot about this explosive growth, which we all saw. And I guess as an older guy looking at that explosive growth, in the back of my mind, I always thought, this is hard. This is
Yeah.
hard to do. You went from 100,000 to 200 million in 13, 14 months. So this next set of questions is based along the lines of, it's not all flowers. It's not all sunshine. You as a technical founder, who my guess is, excuse me, love technology, had to become a manager of an organization that was growing incredibly rapidly. Can you talk a little bit about the external things that you had to learn personally about managing, about fundraising, about whatever, and what were your biggest, past and ongoing challenges just within the organization?
Yeah. I think for the last 10 years in my career of being an entrepreneur, we've 9 years I've been shit on, and this year is the one year where basically, we built something and it worked. So like, even though it might seem rosy daisy, like, oh, there's a lot of growth, but it's actually 9 years of torture, 9 years of learning that I've had to kind of go through. And so essentially with the ZeroLand, like we knew, I mean, I still do today, like we knew how to kind of make it grow from 0 to 1 to 100, right?
Yep.
Because in my past, like I've done many other projects, I've worked as an entrepreneur before, managed employees on my own, 100 employees plus and whatnot. Um, so we knew how to do it, right? The only thing is, like I don't know if I wouldn't know if there's a bit of luck involved in making something work, but I think at least this time what I try to do rather is when I was building something, really try to focus on users and their products, right? And what they had to say, so I would spend a lot of time in Discord, understand what users wanted to see, and we would build and that's I think the main reason of why we're able to grow so well. But Grant, I think we still have a lot more to grow. Like Aave is, like the competition is in the billions of dollars. Even
Mm-hmm.
though yes, we are at 200 million, which is still bigger than 100,000. I still feel like we have a long way to kind of go. So yeah, it's always a hustle. It's like Um, for me, I work like 7 days a week, like 10, 12 hours,
Yeah.
maybe more a day. I still work like a dog. And like I was just through a long flight, and I was still coding in the plane. So
Oh my lord. So
yeah.
so it sounds like you have this experience with everything, with all the hats you have to wear, because I imagine there's fundraising still going on, or at least partnerships, and there's this you're managing a bunch of type A developers. How do you do that? What's been the hardest part of that?
So I mean, how do we do that? I mean, I think it's not easy for sure, but Grant, I love this project so much. Like, it's my passion, right? And
Hmm.
we want to make this bigger and bigger. And I mean, I want to be known for building something that hits $1 billion in assets, right? So there's an ambition, there's a goal to make this bigger, right? And
Yep.
so that drives me. So amongst
Okay.
all the crap that we get, like there's a lot of crap we get. So and
Yes.
there's a lot of issues. Like for example, ZeroLend is a project, a DeFi project. A lot of hackers are out there. A lot of negativity is out there in crypto, right? Even today, like the market is not as bullish as it was maybe early this year, right? So we I think having strong focus and a good drive, like being in love with what you do is super important. And managing the devs, fundraising, yeah, I the thing is that maybe 3 4 years ago, Grant, like when I started my journey fundraising, or started my journey as a tech guy, I failed a lot. Like I think it took me maybe 20 30 rejections from VCs before I could sign my first check, maybe 3 4 years ago. So
Yep.
yeah, it's a lot of failures, like a ton of failures before the first like golden ticket, right? And
Yep.
I wish like it was easier.
Yeah.
So that's really it. Yeah, but I think like for us, like moving forward, it's still going to be a hustle. It's still going to be more grinding, more challenges to face. But on the bright side, Grant, I think it's really, in a way, it's good, because if you don't really, uh, you know, push yourself to take these hard challenges, then you will never really kind of go anywhere. So
Yep.
there's a bit of risk taking in me, and a bit of what do you say, tolerance for making mistakes, or learning, and all of these things. So that's really
Yeah.
what keeps me going. So yeah.
Well, that's maybe the most important thing that you've said in this interview isn't anything about ZeroLend or crypto, but it's that you failed a lot before you had success. And there's so many people, young people, Ben's age, your age out there, that are afraid to take that first step because there's 30 failures before the first success.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate hearing that. And I think that, you're on that mentality takes you on the right track. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, I
Um,
appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah. So turning away a little bit from internally, and you can answer this however you want, but two things externally that I think were out of your control that I think were kind of crappy for ZeroLand were Blast and zkSync.
Yeah.
And I personally never had a warm fuzzy for Blast and whatever, but the zkSync thing, you guys were the big dogs there. And, to the extent you can you comment at all on either of those two? And I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable situation, but just, how did all that happen?
Yeah, so sure. So basically, to give our listeners some context,
Yeah.
and so essentially, so ZeroLand was the largest. Like we did a lot of work on zkSync. So we were the largest money market lending protocol on zkSync. zkSync conducted an airdrop of their token, which was a pretty big deal for a lot of the projects that spent time, worked there, built the communities there, right? And in that distribution of tokens, a lot of projects got an allocation. but ZeroLend got none, right? And that's a
Hmm.
confusing perspective, confusing decision, given the fact that you have all of these other projects that got tokens, but this one project, which is ZeroLend, did not get tokens from the very own blockchain, the very own partner it first worked with,
Yeah.
right? And it sort of is it's a sad story, right? Like it's a sad
Right.
story to hear like the father abandoned the son sort of a thing,
Yeah.
because zkSync was the first like the first chain we worked with and did stuff with. But what essentially happened is a bit of dirty politics, and essentially, one of the largest competitors. I don't know if this is a good thing, but one of the largest lending protocols basically said, we will not come to zkSync if you give ZeroLend an airdrop, right? Now, I don't know if this
Wow.
is a good thing or a bad thing, because when we heard it, we were like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah.
um, but I don't know if it's a good thing, because if in some sense it means that we are a threat, or we are
Yeah.
growing too fast. So I don't know if that's a good thing. But to me, honestly, like I wish, and when I heard this was like shocking to me, and
Yeah.
I could not really document this properly, because no one wants to like put this on paper. um, but at the same time, essentially, we focused, like we decided to say, okay, you know what, like screw it, like let's just focus on the tech and
Yeah.
working on the product. Either which ways, zkSync, after giving an airdrop to everyone else and all the learning protocols, they still could not like replace us as the number one learning protocol, which
Yeah.
is funny. They did all that drama, and then they still could not like achieve what
Right.
they wanted. So, anyways, but I think like from zkSync's, like what it at least taught me was that there's a lot of politics in business,
Yep.
and I for one hate politics. Like we are just builders, entrepreneurs who we just love to build stuff that people like, meet people like Ben, early
Yep.
on, right? So this is really the core of what we want to focus on, and so yeah, I mean that's really the thing. So now moving forward, I've just told my team like, hey guys, we need to diversify. We need to do. I think ZeroLend any which ways has more assets than the entire zkSync blockchain combined.
Yep.
So, so anyways,
Well,
like yeah, that's what it is.
you often, and Ben's heard me say this, but in order to be truly great, you often need an enemy to chase after. And I don't know if that sounds good or bad, but certainly, people noticing you is a good thing. So you know what? Let's move on. This is sort of kind of the not so great stuff, but the great stuff coming up is ZeroLend One. And you guys are, I think, extremely busy trying to support ZeroLand and do ZeroLand One. What was going through your mind when you decided, well, let's essentially scrap all this old code, all these old interfaces, which I think you're doing, and start from scratch with new code, new interfaces, new everything. So can you talk a little bit about that and where you want ZeroLand One to take you?
100%, and I think I'll even tease a bit of the interface for you guys as an exclusive for you, right?
Oh, awesome.
And no
Awesome.
one has seen this, also I'll do that especially for you guys, right?
Thank you.
But really, the thing is that when we started growing ZeroLend, so ZeroLend went from $10,000 to $100,000 to $1 million to 10 million to even $100 million, right? So we started becoming big, big, big. um, and when you become so big, like you need to really start worrying about security and risk and all of these things, right? And
Hmm.
it's not easy at all, because if we encounter, let's say, a bad debt, or if we encounter economic attacks or these kinds of issues, right, we really are in trouble. So essentially, to kind of circumvent that, we hired a risk manager called Chaos Labs to manage the risk
Hmm.
of ZeroLand, right? Now the issue is that as ZeroLend kind of keeps growing, risk needs to grow as well. We need more people monitoring risks, monitoring chains, monitoring assets, and it's a big cost actually to handle this, right? I think annually we are paying quite like uh, more than 150 to $1 million a year,
Wow.
just to sort of get this risk management in place, right? So the more markets you add, the more you need to like increase your costs, right? So essentially, as an entrepreneur, you would think, okay, now how do we kind of resolve this? How do we, scale without increasing expenses too much, or what can you do here? And so the answer really came to us when we saw Morpho, and we saw a lot of this new category of lending protocols that are curating risk management, right? So what happens is when you curate something like, for example, um, when you curate real estate, or when you curate cars, right? You suddenly bring the price of everything down a lot, because you then have it becomes an open market. People start competing with each other, and then the price of whatever they're dealing with comes down, right? So when we kind of do curation for risk management, we bring the cost of risk management down a lot, and then we're able to do more, right?
Hmm.
I would love to be launching lending markets with meme coins. I would love to be launching, listing new assets, as much as possible, right? But we can't do that today because the cost of doing that is like not feasible, right? So
Hmm.
ZeroLend One is basically addressing that because we can scale risk management. So you might be seeing us doing, meme coin lending on Solana or on Base or with Dog with Hat, you know. So all of these
Yep.
things with ZeroLend One, because we can actually, really scale up risk management, because today we're paying a lot of money for risk management, and
Yeah.
keeping the protocol safe and secure. And yeah, I'm happy to share with you guys a bit of how. Let me see if there's a way to kind of do this. Like this sort of is like
Oh.
how ZeroLend One is going to look. And essentially, on all of this is work in progress. So I think by the time your video gets like a couple of months old, you will see like
Yep.
the thing in action. But here, I think what essentially is really cool is users can
Wow.
come in, they can create their own lending pool, they can specify the kind of assets they want to create. There's this concept of walls where people can, risk managers can come in and curate risk for different kinds of walls. All various lending pools can be kind of shown up over here. Besides that, we also have our own, like points and
Yep.
whatever. So all incentives are all streamlined in one place. But the idea is that basically with this, new architecture or a new way of lending, we're able to scale ZeroLend to many, many different blockchains at the same time. So yeah, like we're going to be supporting, of course, your
Yep.
EVM chains like ETH, Linea, Blast, zkSync, but we're also going to be on Solana and
I
Solana
see
and
base there.
yeah, and Base as well. So yeah, these are some of the like the new things that we're working on, and I feel like as an entrepreneur, like we have to keep building, like we have to keep building what the market wants, and we see a huge demand, like a huge demand for meme coins to be lent and
Mm.
borrowed. Like I think the biggest success one of the biggest success for ZeroLend was a lending market we launched called as Croak. And again, just putting our ears to the ground, like it was a market where the entire community got behind. They loved us for it. They brought users for us, and it was a great success. So essentially, we have certain signals that say, hey, you know what, this is going to be interesting. This is going to grow, and we
Yep.
should invest our time there. And that's really what the next version of ZeroLend is going to be. And again, it's our goal, grand, to make this into $1 billion
Yep.
project, right? And so that's why we're kind of building towards this, and that's really it.
That front end, I mean, I've been on your site for ages. That's a complete rebuild of not only your front end, but any front end I've really ever seen. And Ben, would you say the same thing? That's brand new.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd echo that sentiment for sure. I would say that the one thing that stuck out that you mentioned as well is it not only kind of decreases those risk management costs for you guys, but it democratizes the whole lending and borrowing process, which I think is really cool because that's kind of like one of the core tenets of crypto in general. It democratizes the asset creation, the lending and borrowing process. So that's super cool. And the interface really facilitates that. It looks like it's going to make it really easy to do that. So super cool.
Yeah, yeah, Ben, I would love for your feedback as well, when it goes live, right?
yeah,
So we're going to be doing a closed alpha, but again, as an entrepreneur, one of the things I've learned is that build small pieces, get it, tested, run by the community multiple times, and build what the community wants. When we launched ZeroLend back in July of 2023, it took us 1 month, 1 to 2 months to build the entire thing. So in that sense, also it's the same timeline. Like it's again taking us 2 to 3 months to build ZeroLend One, and yeah, we're just building this product, trying to see like how much traction we can get. I'm 90% confident, 95% confident that it is going to be a hit. It is going to be a success. So we're fairly confident of building this and what we're going to be doing with it. So yeah, super excited and excited to show you guys. I think your community is going to be the only ones right now who have a sneak peek of
awesome.
what this looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
that's really it. Yeah.
Love it. So we've taken up a lot of your time. I know you're
No, no,
tired
no.
off the
Don't worry about
plane.
it. Yeah.
Um, Ben, do you have anything else you want to ask him before I kind of turn the floor over to him and let him drop any more? I mean, you've already given us the best alpha, but if
Yeah.
there's more alpha you want to give, I was going to turn it over to you. But Ben, you first.
I'm all good. I think I kind of said what I wanted to say. We got some great alpha already, and it was great talking with you. So anything you want to leave it off with, you got it.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I think one of the amazing things that we're focusing on is, like the token as well, Zerland token. So when Zerland One kind of comes in, we're gonna have a few amazing things coming out. Like we're gonna get more partnerships coming in, but we're also gonna have more exchange listings in the pipeline. There are a few big ones that I'm working on right now. So I've gone through this grind as a crypto founder. So we know now what we have to do. We're in this weird situation where the market is, trying to like decide if it's bearish or bullish. Because I
Yep.
think just as we're speaking, Bitcoin just crashed below 60, and in the morning today it went up to 61,000, whatever. So so the market does not know if it's bullish or bearish today. But I'm super excited for like the next one year actually, because I just do strongly believe that next year is going to be like a fantastic bull cycle coming in with liquidity for altcoins. But ZeroLend token holders, yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to share that we are working with more exchange listings coming in. We're working with more partners, and I think once the version 2 ZeroLend One is out of the water, we will be able to sort of, scale more. I do have to say that I wish I could spend more time in our Discord with our community.
Yep.
But I hope that I hope that we can do as much as we can. We want to try and do more. And yeah, we want to give a lot of merch as well, like a lot of T-shirts, coffee mugs. So yeah, that's something we want to do for our community. We want to like create something awesome here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna give a lot of free stuff to our community and try our best to listen more, and that's really it.
Awesome. Well, our free merch is sitting in a
Yeah.
mailbox, and we're not there. So I told one of your mods, and I'll tell you, we'll definitely have that on one of our normal shows.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
cool.
and yeah. It's funny you bring up free merch. I coached high school football for 13 years as a
Oh,
volunteer,
amazing.
but I loved all the free stuff they gave us.
Yeah.
So you're a man after my heart.
Yeah. No, so I think for you guys, like, yeah, we have some special stuff coming in, and we can even give free merch to your community as well. There's no issues at all. And I think it's a fantastic way to really, have like, I think if there was a way for us to speak to every single person in our Discord one-on-one individually, that would be super awesome. The
Hmm.
issue is that there are 200,000 people in our Discord.
Yeah.
So I wish, we could, like really do more for them. And this is something that I think really is one of our natures, is that we always love doing more for our community. And also this separates us politically from other projects out there, just that how we love to give back to our community. So that's really it, dude. Nothing else. And
All right.
we're open to feedback.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that, and I know I'm making more of your time commitments, but when
That's okay.
you're in the Discord, it certainly your way of answering questions and all that certainly builds trust. It builds community, and it's certainly something that a founder of a giant protocol like yours doesn't often do. So keep doing that when you can.
Yeah,
You're commended
I
for
will try
doing
my
that,
best.
and we're looking forward to seeing ZeroLend One and the growth, and moving forward and getting everything worked out now, moving to that, and it's great. And Ben, that's all I have.
Yeah, me too. That was awesome, Riker. Thanks for the time today. Learned a lot, got some alpha, and yeah, you're a
Yeah.
great guy. Great talking with you.
No,
Yes,
super
absolutely.
excited and super grateful for you guys having me on board. And that's really it. If there's anything else that I can do for your community, or for your viewers out there in our community as well as the Roland community, guys, please do let me know. We're super, super open to feedback, and that's really it.